What You Need, a Twilight Zone episode about an old man, a sidewalk peddler, who carries around a briefcase and opens it up and gives you exactly what you need. These typically come in very pedestrian type items, a pair of scissors, a comb, but they might just be the thing that will save your life. And wow, we are really back on track in the Twilight Zone. The last two episodes I thought were subpar, but man, this one kicks ass and slaps you around. With great writing, a really evil villain, a man by the name of Fred Renard, who after meeting this street peddler who gives him what he needs, a pair of scissors that saves his life when his scarf gets caught in an elevator and starts choking him. He begins to follow this street peddler around and wants more. He wants more and more items. He wants money. This is played perfectly by Steve Cochran, who just has one of those faces. I can't say I'm an aficionado of actors from the 50s and 60s. I was like, where did I see him from? And he actually plays Big Ed Summers in White Heat, a gangster flick that I have seen and like a lot. He was also in The Chase and The Best Years of Our Lives. And he meets the peddler, Peddler, at a bar, and he sees him going around, first giving an ex-baseball player a bus ticket to Scranton, Pennsylvania. Well, that seems pretty innocuous. And then immediately as his peddler gives him this bus ticket to Scranton, the baseball player gets a phone call where someone offers him a new job, and guess where? Scranton. And he's going to be a coach, which is exactly what he wanted to do. He can no longer play baseball as he has an arm injury, quite important for baseball. But now he can coach a team and still get to experience his favorite sport, baseball. It's a really good example of how something that seems not important can play into someone's life later. And I like the fact that this peddler is giving people very simple things. Rod Serling wrote the teleplay for this, but it's actually based on a story by Louis Pedgett. Peddler is not going up to people just giving them $1 million. I thought that might actually happen. Here's what you need, $1 million. No, he's giving them very simple items that will change their lives. And doing good deeds around town, but he's also a man of modest means. We see his apartment later. It's not very big. He's not making millions of dollars doing this, but he has this type of gift where he can see a bit into the future. And when Renard meets him at this bar and gives him a pair of scissors that saves him from the elevator accident, Renard begins stalking him. He shows up at his house. He wants more items. He then gives him a pen that leaks. And as Renard's holding this leaky pen, not understanding why the hell this would be what he needs, a blot of ink lands on a racehorse, and he bets on that racehorse and makes $2,500. Well, he actually makes about $200, but it translates into about $2,500 in today's money. And he's just not satisfied with this. He's given him a little bit of money to help him out, pay off some debts, get his life back on track, but no, he wants more and more and more. And while this guy is really evil, you can kind of see where he's coming from. This guy has some special gift to let you bet on racehorses and win. But there's a trick to this gift that he has. He doesn't just see into the future. We don't know exactly how he can do this, but as the episode says, and as I keep repeating, he gives you what you need, not what you want. That's some other guy. You gotta find some other Twilight Zone to give you what you want. So you can't just snap your fingers and go, hey, give me a mansion, 100 chicks, and $1 billion. We'll just go, you don't need that. If I give you that, you'll die of a drug overdose in a year. And you go, no, but I want it. Just give me like tons of money. And well, it's like, no, that's not good for you. I'm gonna give you what you need. And you need some freaking discipline, Renard. The episode keeps getting better and better and better, and it's so hard to predict. I've watched a lot of these episodes. I've watched a lot of anthology shows. That's why I'm doing a YouTube channel called TVAnthologyReviews. But I could never predict where this was going. He gives a guy a comb at the end where he can just comb his hair because he's going to be put on the news. A guy a bus ticket, a inky pen, just very creative ways to help a person in their life. But as Renard begins to stalk him and tells him he wants to be in business with him and threatens him, we get to the end where he's outside and he's coming towards him. He wants to find his ability, and he rummages through his briefcase and he sees a pair of shoes. So he puts on these pair of shoes, thinking this is what he needs, and Peddler just goes along with this. And as he put on these shoes, they're a bit slippery, and it's been raining outside, and he slips and falls and gets run over by a car. We see him hit by a car, and Renard dies. And this was all planned by Peddler, because he could see into the future, and when he first met Renard, he mentioned that he saw that he was eventually going to try to kill him. So when he put on these pair of shoes, that wasn't what Renard needed. That's what the peddler needed. He needed him to put on these shoes because he knew he was going to come kill him. So you get a very nice ending. This guy does deserve to die. He was coming towards him. He was going to kill him. And of course there's a message in here to not be too greedy. This guy is just too greedy. He's helped him twice. Once by saving his life with this pair of scissors. Another time by giving him $2,500. He should be satisfied with that. But he just wanted more. So I think this episode is excellent. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. We're back on track. This is perfect Twilight Zone fare. It's tense, it's dark, and it's an original spin on someone who can just see into the future. I covered an episode of Monsters that was similar to this called The Maker, where the guy had the ability to just make things appear. But it wasn't as smart as this one. He would make a bunch of dumb stuff appear. Stuff wouldn't end up working out. He would make like fake money. No, this is a good episode. Someone giving you what you need. A godlike figure who's going to help you out and hope you're satisfied with that. Don't be greedy if you run into a peddler like Padot. And we have some fun trivia from this episode. Actually, a ton. So this was based on a short story, and this tells you the changes that Rod Serling made since he did the teleplay from the short story. The original story featured a machine that could foretell an individual's probable future. Serling replaced this science fiction element with a street peddler who could magically perform the same function. Also, helping to save costs, because there's no way that in 1959 they would be able to create a fortune-telling machine that would stand up to the test of time. And it also says in the original story, the man owns a shop where he has a machine, and he gives people what they need to provide the best possible outcomes. Also, the Renard character is killed not by a car, but by falling off a subway platform while a train is coming into the station. Once again, a much harder scene to actually replicate. Though kind of a cooler way to die. I think he does the third rail. And there's a little Easter egg when Renard's looking at the newspaper, searching for the horse races. They use the same front page as the Twilight Zone episode Time Enough to Last. The one where a nuclear bomb goes off and destroys everyone in this society. And Stephen King also wrote a short story, I Know What You Need, published in Night Shift. Next up is episode 13, The Four of Us Are Dying. You really are good at doing catchy titles. We're going to have one coming up after this called I Shot an Arrow into the Sky. So intriguing. Where'd the arrow go? And check out our playlist for the other series that we've covered. We're doing every single Twilight Zone. And we've already finished Tales from the Dark Side, Monsters, Fear Itself, halfway through Black Mirror, Pet Shop of Horrors, Cowboy Bebop, and Mystery Science Theater 3000. Thanks a lot.